morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, April 18th, 2024, and we are here for a work session with a lot of feedback and echo going on right now.
There you go.
Okay, much better. Thank you.
Our sound guy took care of it.
We would all please rise for the pledge. Marty, would you mind leading us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Marty. Okay. We have 6 items for open session, and then after we complete those, we'll go to executive session, which is closed. Item number 1 on work session today is matters surrounding an update on the parking district with Denise Merrifield and Marty, Ike, and Georgia, I guess, come on up. Good, how are you?
Hi.
Hey, Ike. How you doing?
How are you?
Okay.
Good morning.
Put one of these here for them to put on the
Okay.
screen. But,
I don't think we can. So I gotta turn this off. Honestly,
two
not
there,
really.
3, 5.
Thank you. I like it in technical. It's very nice to color.
Sure. Good start.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so
I'll just state your names for the...
Martin Senlowski, the chair of the Redhead Parking District.
Yep.
Ike Israel, Parking District.
George Malone, one of the owners of the buildings that gets the
Uses the corral.
So we're here, the picture that we have here is what prompting us to be here. The parking district is not a dumpster district, it's not a dumpster committee, we're a parking committee.
Right.
But this was discussed at our last meeting, and the dumpster corrals are on parking district property. And they are, obviously, there's some issues. So we wanted to bring that to the board and discuss what the options are going forward to get this resolved. I just want to give you a very brief history. I spoke with Drew Dillingham earlier, and on a number of occasions. And basically what the history of this location is the corral, originally it wasn't a corral. That area is used by a number of businesses to place the dumpsters. It was problematic with a lot of illegal dumping. At that point, it was determined to put a corral around it for the businesses to use and have it secured. There was an option at the time to build individual corrals, which we actually think would be a better solution, where each user has a specific corral. The current corral is just one big open corral that has 3 access gates for the carters to access, and 1 side gate that they're supposed to use to bring the trash in for people to access it. I also spoke with Steve from Diggers. Him and Cucina, they share one of the gates. But in either case, what happened was, at that time, there was also a discussion about, instead of doing that, doing the individual corrals, okay? Drew had gotten a price at the time that was going to be like around $30,000 to $40,000 to do the corrals. They would have actually gone along the north side of the parking lot as opposed to that side. Where they go, how they're configured is, if we're at that part of the discussion, we're in a good place. The corrals were originally, like, were put there to control it, to have some intent of doing the keeping them maintained better. So right now, sanitation department, once a week, they go down there and clean up around the dumpsters. But as you can see, there's a problem within the dumpsters that have become problematic.
I don't know if they're still cleaning around.
What's that?
I don't
They're
think they're not
They're
cleaning
not.
around.
They've been
Okay.
told not to.
Okay,
That's a misuse of taxpayer money
okay,
as far as
okay.
I'm concerned.
Okay, so the dumpsters should be the responsibility of the owners. But currently, at the time, I recall, I wasn't involved with it, other than we were on the parking committee at the time. That when these were done, we thought there was gonna be some type of a use agreement between different businesses and the corrals. In talking to Steve, this morning, he says he's never gotten any invoicing from the town, he doesn't have any agreement. It's just that when they were, built, him and, Sean were each given a key to the one dumpster, that, the one door, gate
Right.
that they have. They use, Mattituck Sanitation. Currently, there are 8 dumpsters in there with 5 carters. And what happens is, since the dumpster is just one big corral with different gates, if one person leaves the gate open, this is the result of what you get. People are dumping illegally, and it's just become a mess. I also understand that, in talking to Steve, that there were keys given out by certain businesses to individuals that shouldn't have them, so they're being left open, and
Yep.
they're becoming problematic.
That's exactly where the problem is.
So, this is not a parking district issue, however, we're sort of living with it, so we're sort of taking charge of hopefully bringing the issue to yourselves, and we have a couple of thoughts. By the way, the responsible businesses are 100% on board with these ideas. Ultimately, it would be nice to have individual dumpster corrals, and then initiate an actual program where the users are responsible for the dumpster, they have an agreement, and something like that, the way it should be run, okay? Obviously, that's gonna cost a lot of money. We don't know if that's something that the parking district can undertake as far as an improvement or not, what legally, in terms of parking district funds being used to beautify the corrals within the, with district. We do have a fund balance on the parking committee. That would be something for the town's attorney's office to determine. But something's gotta be done, and what could be done immediately, even if just the current stall stays and there's no expenditure initially. The initial thought would be to change all the locks immediately. Go get new locks, non-copyable keys, that'll be, legally copyable keys, and lock them, and put a sign on there to call this number, whatever the number is, to have a discussion about the dumpster. Carters, users, nobody's gonna have access initially. Lock them up tomorrow. Lock them, okay? Then you get the users to come down that are gonna use it. They get assigned a key, all the keys would be numbered, and everybody would have to be registered that uses it, okay? Keys would also go to the carters. I talked to Drew, I didn't realize that the town has a sanitation department, which he's part of, and they sort of maintain it a little bit now in terms of keeping an eye on things, but obviously they've been told not to do it because of the funding issue. If this is an issue that, since it's in the parking district, we get charged out of our budget, we get charged right now $6,500 for administrative costs. I don't think that the taxpayers would have an issue with paying a little bit more administrative costs that could go to to the sanitation department, being Drew, and his staff to maintain a log, okay? The thought would be to, once they're secure, there would be within the enclosure, there would be a log that every time a user uses the dumpster corral, they open the gate, put their stuff in the garbage, they sign the date and the time, they leave, they lock the gate. Part of that expense would be to get a cell phone designated just for the sanitation department. They lock the gate, they take a photograph of it, and they forward the photograph to that phone at sanitation. That way we have a monthly use history of every access and every time that dumpster corral is used, both by the carters and the users. The carters would have to do the same thing. They come in, they empty the dumpster, they write down, I emptied my dumpsters, they lock the gate, they take a picture, they text the picture to the phone that would be part of the sanitation department's use. And then that way, there would be an enforcement policy and an enforcement in effect. Whether or not there's an agreement and some type of a fee to the business users, that's fine. Their department could also manage that if need be. these are just ideas. I don't know if that's the direction it should go in, but these seem to be logistical ideas. And, you know, at that point, there would be, there would be a log, there'd be a monthly usage, a monthly report, and anybody that fails to do that would then basically be booted. Sorry, you're out. You're simply out.
Problem, the flaw with that is I go use it, I leave the gate open, and I don't take a picture.
Then you,
So nobody knows who did it.
well, that's the other thing. We definitely would want to get a camera on the.
This is
location.
getting to be an expensive venture to provide a courtesy garbage drop on town property. We've spent $16,000 redoing this about 2.5 years ago with new fencing and everything else. It was explained to everybody, and the permits were sent out to everybody that we knew used that. So everybody got one. Now, whether they signed it and brought it in, I'm gonna have to check through the town attorney's office to see what the follow-up was on it. But this was to be locked, same thing. You use it, you unlock it, you use it, you lock it back up, same with the Carters. These gates are open 24/7. Hence, you see tires and building debris and everything else in there. So the users of this are their own worst enemy. And what we said at one point in time was, if you can't control this, now you're gonna have to go back to old school, put a dumpster on your own property. And that becomes an issue, because some of the properties don't have extra property to put a dumpster on. And that's the reason this was done to begin with. But since people can't play by the law, this is what we now look at.
Yeah.
So, I'm not looking to hurt a business downtown, but honestly, they've got to help themselves. They're not helping themselves in the way it's been done.
Right.
And I know some users are doing a great job there. I know that for a fact. I know Georgia does, and I know Steve Worth does, and Sean Kenna. I know they play by the rules. The problem is, and you mentioned it earlier, is business A has a key for it, has a dumpster, but business A makes copies of the key and gives it to all these other people that don't have a dumpster there, charges them money. He's basically getting his dumpster for free because all the people he's allowing to use it is covering his costs, and we don't know who those people are. And those are the people that are leaving the gates open and, causing this mess to happen.
Right. And that's the good argument for the individual stalls, because with the individual stalls, one key holder would be the responsible key holder. Now, if
that particular dumpster.
and if they give keys to sub-holders, they are still the one responsible. And if that dumpster corral goes bad, then they're all out.
Adios, right.
You know,
They
so
go on.
at least, at least it breaks down the identification of who the problem is by corral. But again, this is an expense that, is
Right, that's what we have to look at. I mean,
Yeah.
I do not favor the town putting another $30,000 or $40,000 into this problem.
Right.
Because I think we put more than enough into it, and nobody could follow the rules. So it would have to be something, if we want to look at legal and see if the parking district could, if you choose to, pay to have it done, we could explore that. But I'm not looking to take direct money out of the town
Right,
budget
right.
to do this.
And that's why we sort of wanted to come
Right.
here, because the parking district, we're pretty fortunate, because right now we happen to have a pretty substantial surplus in our budget. I include our budget attached, by the way.
Yes.
We currently have a surplus of 233, and we're not close to spending our entire levy for this year, so that's probably gonna be up to 275 at the end of this year as far
And
as.
the paving was done a couple of years back too,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
good. That was a big expense at the time.
Yeah,
so-
we did that through a bond, so that's,
Right.
that's one of the line items.
Yep.
We pay the bond every year, and now we don't have to do all that annual maintenance.
Absolutely.
So, another issue that was discussed, is that, the town really, especially the downtown, at some point needs to, and whether this is done through the sanitation department, which I didn't even know existed until I talked to Drew, and he told me, yeah, it's me. If there was an administrative course and a mechanism to send out a notice to all of the property owners within the town, because as it turns out, there are a lot of property owners that are using these locations illegally or doing other things with their garbage.
Because
and
code requires every commercial property to use a commercial carter to pick up their
Right,
garbage.
right, and
And many do not.
right, and there's gotta be a mechanism to find out what's happening with that, so that you know, in other words, there's gotta be, enforcement's the key, and right now,
right.
it's just a disaster. And it's not a parking district matter, but we happen to,
Right,
as
understood.
beautification, if we
You
can,
inherited
if we
it.
can help, fine.
Right.
But, we're not really looking to take it on.
Right.
But I
When
think,
you were our liaison, you like worked with code enforcement, right? And you went around to all of the businesses.
Code went around and got a
to-
list of all the businesses that used it. I contacted all of the carters that were there, explained to the carters, except for one carter who wouldn't tell me who their client was. All the other carters cooperated, gave me the information. We sent the information to all of those businesses along with a copy of the permit that they had to sign. There was no fee for it, but they had to sign a document stating that they would use it, they were responsible for it, and their use of it would be revoked if we found them in violation of it. So that was all done.
There's 8 dumpsters, there has to be 30 businesses there.
No doubt in
you
my
know,
mind,
like,
exactly.
It's not, you know, we have an office building, there shouldn't be car doors and
Yes.
tires
Tires,
and pictures
absolutely.
and construction material,
Yeah.
like.
How does the
These
carter
is
even
yours.
get to the dumpster?
yeah,
They use overhead trucks, so the truck has like the forks on the front, and then
Yeah.
it goes over the top. So they literally just lift them up, and then you know whatever stuff is left behind is.
they do have to double move them, like, Manituck handles both Diggers and Casina. They share the one gate, that's the one that they maintain, but since the gate, they're not separated, it overflows into their area. And literally what he has to do is empty one, move it out of the way, and then go empty the other one, put it back, and then put the other one back. So there's a little bit of jockeying around.
Right.
But that's why the single stalls would certainly make sense if it were single stalls. And we even looked at Patchogue,
I was
and
gonna
they
ask
don't
you,
even have gates, but they have security cameras.
you were gonna check, you could see, cause it
Yeah.
was nice and clean over
Yeah.
there, and you wanted to see, how are they working this, that it stays like that?
Yeah.
There's just security cameras?
Yeah. And
That's-
it
They have
seemed to work out. I
signs.
know you were the one that
For
brought that to our
security.
attention.
So where are you putting your dumpsters?
The dumpster, it's here. So we have 2. I work for Georgia. She has 2 office buildings, and it's within this corral. This is just a picture in one of the gates. There's 2 other gates, so we're in the back on the right-hand side.
Is your dumpster locked?
Our dumpster is locked, and that's one of the other issues, is that once somebody that's bringing their stuff here, they're committing to leaving their stuff. You don't ever see somebody walk out of the dumpster area with their stuff, so.
One of the
And-
things,
and-
And one of the things we've talked about in years past is creating a sanitation district down there, where just everybody pays in, and everybody gets a code to Universal Compactor, and you don't pay your bill, then you don't get a code to the compactor and so forth, and then it's a simple solution of really one camera just monitoring for illegal dumping, really catching license plates and other things going in and out of there, and everybody downtown pays their share, and sanitation district, so Drew can, based on the size of a business, towards what the cost of what they would pay, what they would expect to throw away on a regular basis. So a restaurant should pay significantly more than somebody that's, just doing a small law office or something that's a lot less.
We explored that option, but the problem with that is 5 different carters did services, right? And each one of their customers has a signed contract for 5, 10, 8, whatever years, and to put one compactor down there would require everybody to have to break their contracts one way or another, and it was very difficult to get out of that contract. And that was one of the issues why we backed off that a few years back.
On the south side of the street, 2 previous administrations ago removed all of the dumpster enclosures. You don't, if you go back there, it's actually cleaner, but you're looking at
Dumpsters.
dumpster. You walk
Yeah.
up to somebody's business and it
Right.
smells
You
like
gotta
dumpster.
go in their
Right.
back door and you gotta walk past the smelly dumpster to go in a restaurant.
So
It's not the best idea.
so you brought up cameras, right? Cameras, are there cameras on any of the buildings that can see those dumpsters? That's number one. If there's not.
I don't think so, because I
Okay.
think we explored that too.
So somebody that owns a building or a couple of buildings, put cameras on it, right? We just increased illegal dumping. And if we can, and the problem you get with license plates is often you get flare and then you can't read them. So, and I was gonna work with the chief to look at putting a polarizing filter over the lens to see if that would help identify the license plates. But I would venture to guess that what they're doing in Patchogue, having security cameras makes a difference, because I don't know what our fines are. It's like $1,500. It's up there. You throw a tire in there, you're paying $1,500. Take it out of your pickup truck and stick it in there, because they'll be found.
Can I just say something? I don't know about the security cameras, only in the sense that if you have people that don't have money, they're not going to pay a fine for whatever they dump over there. Two things. You mentioned about the corral maybe having a roof over it as well. Not just open, but having a lid on top. And frankly, it may just be something that the businesses would have to burden they share, is you have an actual night security guard that stays there and watches overnight. Because that way you don't have to worry about glare on the from the camera on the cars. You actually have somebody somewhat patrolling the area. And after a while, that'll go away if they know there's somebody there watching.
Yeah, it's not just at night though. I mean,
Yeah, but during the day, the businesses can watch.
Yeah,
They can
and-
take a
But they
look.
don't watch. I
Well,
mean, they can't watch. You
I
got a
was-
restaurant
I was
you
in the-
operate,
I was
nobody
in-
can see that dumpster.
I was
from their
working on my
business.
property, and I can see this corral from my property. And I was out there working, and I saw a pickup truck, and I saw guys getting out, and unfortunately, I couldn't get around. I wanted to go around
Okay.
and take a picture of their plate, but, by time
Yeah, you
I
got there.
realized that these guys are dumping illegally, there was nothing you could do to get over there. So I think the camera, at
Cameras
least,
are the best source.
it happens to, even if they don't catch the plate, if people see the signs and they see cameras and they see the fine, it knocks out maybe, 85% of it, or who knows?
I would
Wait,
really-
so when
probably
you
not
see the illegal
residents
dumping, when you
because,
see it,
I mean,
what's
once they're
going on?
apartment residents,
They
fine.
just
We have
take
free
the
garbage
stuff
They
in
out.
pull up,
So you're not gonna bring your
Yeah, what do they
garbage
do?
in.
No, I want to hear,
They
what do
just-
they do?
They pull up the gate. I took this
They
picture,
They
what
can
happened
throw it
was,
over the fence.
We've
No, that's
we've
what I
found
said.
that
Well,
most
that's
of
why we
this
have
is
to have-
coming from
they pull up,
Southampton
they empty the stuff,
Township.
they get in
Because
turn
Just leave it over
Flanders
there.
Take out
doesn't have
bags of
free
stuff,
pickup.
and they throw
And
it
a lot of that-
over,
They just throw it right here. Then they leave.
because it's not locked.
Right.
You know what, this is very administrative heavy. I mean, why can't we just come up with a really simple system? One of which is that the keys that are distributed to these people, the owners, such as myself, they cannot distribute it to anybody else. I mean, so people want to share the expense. Well, then that party, that business, okay, has to be a business, okay, that should be sharing this. And they should have, you have their name, number, everything. So that, I don't understand how this thing could be left open. I immediately, it's always been a hassle. I would drive in and I see this gate left open. That's crazy. And why wouldn't we, and thank you, talk about putting something, which, if you want to pay real, on the top of this, because you can put something, because they're just throwing stuff over. They're just throwing stuff over.
They're really not throwing stuff over, because those gates are open all the time.
No, there's
Those
no
gates,
question.
those fences are 10 foot high. You're
I
not gonna be
agree.
throwing tires and 12-foot 2x6s over the fence, because that's gonna alert everybody that you're doing something illegal.
One of the gentlemen who has a
This is because the
business.
gates are open, you back your truck up, you empty stuff out, and
That's
off
nice.
you go.
They said the gate problem is the gate problem. Let's just deal with that immediately. And let's then take it from there. Because all of this administrative stuff, taking photos and signing off on a monthly basis, maybe we have to do that, maybe we don't. But the biggest problem right now, as far as I can see, is that these gates are left open. And they should not be left open. And so you're going to say, okay, which one of the owners of the buildings or businesses here are like leaving it open? Which one of so then it's their companies that are leaving it open? Then they can break their contracts. You're a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. They can then break that. But I don't understand why we can't make sure the owners are ensuring that these gates are always closed. That's crazy. Okay, I don't know why that's happening, but we have to stop that. Yes, we do. You're looking at me, I'm crazy.
No,
But
I
they-
agree
No,
with you.
Yes,
start-
I mean,
I would
everything else is a
think
mess.
you're right, start with the key,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Start
we
with
can
the
get
key
a,
and the cameras.
and the cameras, and we,
Individual
cameras.
corrals.
and we could probably get a sign, Tim,
Well, when
that
you say
says,
cameras,
can I just finish?
I'm sorry.
We get a sign that says illegal dumping fine, and we'll put the number on what it costs. So you've got key, camera, and a sign, so they're aware of what the fine is.
And by the way, they are throwing it over, but they don't have to. But from what the gentleman who owns the gun store, Joe, don't know his last name, I'm bad at names, he said that he was watching them just throw the house right behind here, which is what, I don't know what it is. not a halfway house, but it's a house. He said that all he does is watch them throw bags of garbage, you know, which they don't have to do anymore. But he said he definitely has seen them many, many times.
At one point, we checked, and they actually had a contract to have the garbage removed,
So
but
it wouldn't be.
So just I
Yeah,
think
let's get
basic
the, let's
thing
get the locks,
is
let's
is
get the
this done.
cameras, and let's take it from there.
Okay,
And
yes.
Denise, if they don't have money to pay the fine, they can sit their tails over in the county jail.
Right.
I really don't
Right.
care. This is disgusting, and it's not to be tolerated.
And then
And
also,
we put somebody over there for 15 days, they'll think twice about
Right.
wait, and I tell
throwing
you
on
what,
a tire or
well, I tell you
something.
something else. So then it's the companies, it's the carding companies, you think,
Mhm.
or it's the owners that are not. So they're not. Then that's the basis for firing them. Any breach of contract. I could look at a contract. You can look at a contract and easily say, okay, they're in breach. And the moment you send them lawyers that are saying hate jerks or hate, you know, the moment you leave these doors open is the basis for a breach of this
Right.
agreement. And then
And
if
then
they're
you're
the
out
ones
of the
doing it, then you talk to the owners of those companies and say, hey, we're going to fine you. Okay, is that possible? We can do that because they're littering. Aren't they littering on town property? You know, what are the rules for
Most
littering?
trucks, most garbage trucks have cameras on the back, so, already, because I'll give you an example, when they do pickups in the town, for example, right? Somebody said, well, they didn't come. Well, they're time-stamped, and they'll send a picture to sanitation. Now, we were there at 7:30, and there was nothing there, and here's the picture. Somebody will put it out at 7:45 and say the garbage truck never came. Follow what I'm saying? So there's a camera on the back of
Okay,
the
fine.
truck
Sure.
already. You can ask them
We
to take a
even
picture.
explore the legality of, like, I know you're saying 3-5 year contracts, but I don't foresee any of these ideas working. I just think it's just
No, I
gonna keep
don't.
going, and it's a
Right.
dumping site. But if you created a universal sanitation district for everybody down there, you know, and then you just put out a notice, and you say effective January 1st, 2025, we're gonna operate it, so notify your carters now, and I think there's
So-
gotta be a legal stance where we, at a certain point, have to interject ourselves and take over the responsibility.
Why don't we just try to come up with a procedure first for making sure these doors stay closed? Like, why not? I mean, I could sit with any lawyer, because
Because
this
the
is
keys will
crazy.
continue to be shared, and even
Well, no,
if
no,
you've
but
got
maybe
people
they
that are
can't be
gonna bring their stuff
duplicated.
from
So,
home
so
and
how
everything
do,
else,
how
it's
does,
just gonna
how does the
continue.
town, what's the phone number? Because what should happen is there should be a notice, and whether it's tomorrow or the next day, new locks, nobody gets a key, Carters, nobody's gonna have access
We
to it
did
with a
do
sign
this
saying,
just-
call this number.
Just gonna let you know, we did do this once
Okay.
already and changed the locks down there and put a new lock on it and told people they had to come get the keys. The people that were using it cut the chain on the lock and the lock was no longer there. The lock completely disappeared. So now we're replacing yet another lock.
And you think
That's
it's-
why the cameras to me are
Cameras
the
are-
most
You
important.
need the cameras one way or the other, whether you, no matter what you have there.
And the phone number we would give out would be Ken's home number.
There you go.
Yeah, this way they can contact.
Maybe you need one of those things like Walmart has for a little while, on the white post. I don't know how the size down there. And stick, I don't know what they cost to rent, just stick it up there.
Well, then I think we should do two things. We have to make sure we come up with some procedure that works for making sure these doors are locked. I mean, and having cameras. I think that.
Give it a go, give it a go, that's what
But
I
all
would
this
do.
other stuff is like an administrative mess and crazy, and that's what we don't
I don't know
want.
if we spend the money and put the fences in between the three and turn it into 3 corrals, and then we'll try to work it out amongst each other
Might
and
be
see
easier
if
than
Yeah,
that.
so
That'd be
you'll
the
know
most
who the-
cost effective.
You'll know
was
who the
just gonna
culprit
say.
is too, so you'll have
Yeah.
a better idea of who's
Exactly.
the partner that
Separate
did
the
something
three.
else with their key.
Right, and then, and then have one, and then it would be a matter of having whoever's involved with these agreements with the town to take the different locations and have one initial entity that has the key, and then all the keys gotta be numbered and they gotta be registered to who
Right.
has them, and, if then everybody that's in that corral knows, hey, you're all going to lose it if this corral is abused.
Right.
Then at that point, they all have, they all have skin in the game. They're gonna lose
Right.
their dumpster.
That's right.
And they're gonna lose their privilege permanently.
Right.
And for one, I know Steve Worth is totally on board with that. He
I
said,
know
yeah,
he is,
we'd
and
be
he
more than
does
happy.
the right
We'll-
thing down
We'll
there, as
monitor
does
ours, we'll
Georgia,
take
and
care
as
of it.
does Sean.
But there are others, and the
There's
fact,
others that are not.
I have been told that there are a couple of owners who have let keys out to other people. They
I
are,
have to say, do
they
not
purposely
duplicate
leave them open. There's actually needles and drug use in there, and some of the buildings, including some of the buildings on, you know, the west of the parking lot that
Right.
have apartments.
Yes.
People are basically
Using it.
taking their garbage and
Using it
throwing
there.
it in.
Do you know who the owners are that are giving out keys?
No, I don't.
That's what
That's
doing this
part of
new
the problem.
system,
That'll
will let
be
you
fine.
find out, because the key is not gonna be copied. The new keys
It
won't be
just
able to be
can't be
copied.
copied. That's it.
Denise, set up a meeting
Yes.
with Drew and with the parking district.
We have a meeting next Thursday at 4
Perfect, perfect.
So,
And Denise,
And
you and I,
let's-
sorry, you
let's
and I
get
can
this
look at one of those stupid contracts for 7 years. I mean, talk about issues with totally abusive contracts. I mean, I can't even, when I think about what they make these poor owners jump through such hoops. Oh, it's for 7 years, 9 years. That's ridiculous. And not only that, those contracts are assignable. So if they sell their business, then they can sell to whomever they want. That's another thing I have problems with. But we don't have that issue, mind you. But I'm bothered by the fact that everyone else does. And if you wanted to, you're a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, we can look at the language because something's happening here, and I'm sure it's the carding companies creating a problem here as well.
Do you know what I
Think they're
think is
illegal,
part-
carding companies are illegally dumping?
Yes. No, I don't know if they're illegally dumping, but I don't think they're doing
well,
their jobs.
well, the Carters.
They only pick up the
What's in it?
container.
The
If you
container,
could leave anything, the container could be
Outside
empty
the
with one
container.
tire next to it,
I
they're
don't
not
know
picking
how
up
to
the
do
tire.
it.
And frankly, I don't think they lock it every time because I
That's
think
what
some
I
of them
think.
get
They're leaving the
frustrated, they
gate
come in and
I
they
know.
take it and they pull out of
But
there.
it's garbage.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think
they
they're
want
wrong.
There's gotta be more, there's gotta be more,
Accountability.
Dumping.
Little
We
more
have to-
expense, but
exactly.
cheaper police would suggest there's a key fob system on there where it's a solid locking gate, and basically whoever has a key fob, you know who has it, you
That
know
would be
who's going
awesome.
in and out, and there's more accountability for
But I
it.
think that's like, I don't know about key fob
I
because
like
it's so
that
much
idea,
easier.
because that's actually fairly economical.
Then you can see who's using it, who's coming and going, how often, and in and out, and who the major users are.
I think it's easier to abuse that than having a lock, a
You
physical
can't,
lock.
You can't.
you can't, you
I
can't
know, we
duplicate a
have
key
key
fob,
fobs.
you can't hand it out, and
Right.
it's your name attached to it, so when
So
you show
we'll,
up there.
what we'll do
And it goes
is,
right
know
to
who's
a
Great
computer,
idea.
it goes right to a
We have key
computer.
fobs.
And
If we
Georgia
could-
used it
My
at
whole
3
building,
o'clock.
my buildings are based like.
if we can have Drew at the parking meeting, since the parking district's
Yes.
involved, since it's in our
Right,
lots,
yeah.
we can sort of
Yep.
use that as the coordination point, for it.
I love the fobs.
And we'll look at some of these other ideas between now and then.
Right.
And then realistically, hopefully that with the press being here and everything, there'll be something that will be put out in the local papers so that people read it and they realize that, hey, this time around, it's really getting serious. And because it's gotta be taken care of. I locked this gate after I took this picture. I went down there and I
It was open when you got there, though, correct?
well, what happened was, my wife said to me, she goes, what's going on with the dumpsters? I go, what are you talking about? She says, have you seen that? We were in the car. I said, no. I pulled in and I looked at it and I said, I can't believe it. So I took a picture and then I actually closed the gate and locked it with a gate that was just a master lock. So it was
Right.
somebody's personal
Yep.
lock set. And I locked it and left. But I think that idea of having something with a fob system
I
and
agree.
really changing this
I agree.
and put out a notice that on certain date,
Yeah.
these are gonna be changed and that's it. And the camera's gotta go up, that's at least a
Yep.
start. And then I think
Absolutely.
what Ken is saying about eventually, something's gotta happen. Downtown's on its whole rebirth and all things are great. I think it's probably the opportunity to look at that.
Even with construction supervisor, we're 2 years out from the town square. We can put out a notice now. I don't care how lengthy these contracts are, what the binding opportunity, but whether it's 6 months or a year, but this gotta come to an end. And then if you do, the compacting system, and everybody has their own code, and if they don't pay, their code is wiped from the system. It's another tracking mechanism. You leave it white out in the open, they're clean, and clearly visible. This is the problem because everybody gets in there and they just start dumping stuff and nobody sees who's falling
Okay,
around back there.
that's a good point.
And it should be sanitation district is the only way I really feel in the long term you're ever gonna solve this problem. And everybody down there pays and it's based it on square footage.
And there's a smaller one behind bars, and we never, ever have an issue there.
Because it's out in the open. And everybody,
Well, it is
sort
out
of,
in the open,
you know,
but it's always locked.
Right.
It's never left swinging wide open, and we never have an issue there.
So you know what I would recommend, Marty? Get the corrals that have a lid on top so that people can't throw it over. And the other thing is corrals that the fob works on, that there's no ability to break
They
it
don't have
open,
the
cut it open.
Right.
Just have it on the actual mechanism
The
is set
reason
up
you
so that
can't lit it
there's
is
no lock.
because when the arms come down for the trucks to pick up the dumpsters, you'd have to be so high with a cap on it.
Yeah, but how high? That's, we talked about
It's
this
how
before.
high they, you see
How high?
how high
Talk
they
to your
lift up the
quarter,
dumpster
and
and
then
come
Definitely
up?
talk about that. How high
explore
do they
that
go
with your
up?
It'd probably
Carter.
have to
Yeah,
be
that's
20
because
feet
it's-
high.
I agree.
Well,
And
the
they
other-
I
they
don't
don't
know.
wheel,
Wants
they
this
would wheel it
monstrosity
out
of
a-
first, and
But
you're right, if they, that's the way they can do it right now, is
Right.
they can just lift over,
But
but
if
like
they
this one has
pull it out.
wheels on. Some of them
Initially,
have
as a
wheels on 'em.
stopgap, what could happen is if the riverhead fence came down, and it doesn't have to be heavy duty expensive, if they just did a lighter duty and extended up 4 feet with just like an 8x8 mesh or something, that you're not gonna see, that's transparent, but at least it raises up, you gotta be, you gotta really haul it if you're gonna throw it over.
You
Building
could
the
do
ultimate eyesore down there.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, but,
Yeah.
this
I know
is
that.
certainly an
I
eyesore.
get it, but it's
All right, so we set it
Okay.
up for next week
Thank
at
you.
your meeting with Drew to come down, and we hammer out these issues, and let's give it a shot.
when is it next week?
That's Thursday, our regular meeting.
Thursday, 25th, 4
And
p.m.
I would recommend, if you're considering a fob, have Ken Tester at the meeting. And I just sent you, because I don't have your email, a system that our planning department just sent to me, and I just forwarded the email what they're doing for locking systems for
Great.
Give me
Klaus.
that, I'll give you my email address. Okay, and I'll give it back to you. Ha ha.
Marty will send me, do you have George?
Yeah, you will.
George, okay, send it to me.
No, I
Thank you so
printed-
much.
Okay.
Thank you guys
Then
for
I'll
bringing
have
it
it,
to our
then my
attention,
pleasure.
and hopefully we can clear this once and for all. All right, we're
Yeah.
gonna,
I went to
go a
Catholic
little
school,
bit
my
out of
handwriting
order
sucks.
here because the
Tell
chief
me.
has an
Tell
urgent
me
matter
if
he has
you
to
can.
attend to, so I'm gonna skip number 2 right now and
Georgia
go to item
at
number 3, which is the
Gmail.
police
Malone.
matters surrounding the monthly
CO.com.
report. And this will be relatively quick. The people that are here for the paddle pub will get you right up here after that. Good morning and
Nice
thank
to
you.
meet
Good
you.
morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody? Good.
Yeah, right there.
Rainy day on tap. Again. You should have the March monthly report. Things look okay.
Let me get
I have an extra one.
So going down, well, basically half and half, half's down, half's up, so. Calls received down, domestics are down, motor vehicle accidents are down, motor vehicle deer strikes are down.
Reported deer strikes.
Reported, yes. Summons is issued are down. So the next group is all up, and I think that's just because it's all together. Arraignment charges, arrests, criminal incidents are up. Not by much, criminal incidents are up basically because of new, extra, more petty larcenies and harassments seem to have gone up pretty much in the month of March. Non-criminals are down, revenues are down, and obviously arrests are, just reflect the rest above, so they're up.
Chief, on the harassment, is there a particular area where there's a lot of harassment? Is
I
it
don't
downtown?
have that information in front of me, but I can look into it and find out.
No, that'd be good.
Now, most of our crime does not happen downtown.
Okay.
The only other thing to report really, unless there's any questions, is records management in CAD. It's coming, hopefully next month. So they say May 6th, 7th, or 8th we'll be doing the switch over. Everyone's being trained. So we'll have Hexagon for our computer-aided dispatch and Niche for our records management system. And that's in line with what the county, so the county is the hub and we'll all be spokes off the hub. Most of us will be spokes off the hub. I think East Hampton did not join, East Hampton Village did not join. Hopefully down the road they will. I think so. It's a big undertaking. The report might be a little messed up for May because we'll be reporting 2 different ways. The way we've been reporting, which is uniform crime reporting, versus NIBRS, which is National Incident-Based Reporting System. When everybody's on CAD, will you have access to?
Yes, we'll be able to.
See, that's great.
Yeah, no,
That's
right.
great.
How long have we waited for that?
Right.
Because, obviously, the river separates us from Southampton PD jurisdiction, but the criminals are back and forth,
Oh.
the same players are back and forth all the time, so.
All about sharing information.
Yeah.
All about sharing information.
It's a long time coming.
Yep, good.
Chief, can I just ask you, we met the supervisor and I had met with Loretta Davis from the retreat,
Yes.
and she was asking about a grant that she would like to have with the police department as lead agency to help them. And I was asking if you could speak with Dawn Thomas
Sure.
about that.
I've already spoken to Dawn, so
Great.
hopefully that's underway.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we're all for it. Definitely more training the better.
Yes,
Right.
they would be able to train
They're gonna
with
pay
regard to
for it.
that grant money.
Yep.
That'd be fantastic.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Good.
Well, good.
Yep.
Thank
Thanks,
you for
Chief.
Thank you,
taking me
Chief.
out of order there.
Michael.
Okay, we're gonna go back to item number 2. I appreciate your patience. Matters surrounding possible implementation of a paddle pub in downtown Riverhead. I am fully excited to hear about this.
Yes.
Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
How are you?
How are you?
Joanne, nice to meet you.
Hi, Amanda.
It's so nice to meet you in person.
I'm Tim Amanda. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Karen, nice to meet you.
Hi, Denise.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Have you met Ray? Ray, you want to come up?
No.
This is appropriate.
Hi, Ray. I'm Amanda.
Nice to meet you.
Ray is the director of department head for rec,
Hi, Ray.
Park
How's
and
your
Rec,
trip?
not the TV
It
show.
was nice, thank you. Yeah.
Actually, I haven't watched that.
Still,
Me
still
either.
have to-
I don't
I
watch
heard
too much
about it.
TV.
No, it wasn't too bad, even though we really stayed inside, but we had a couple of Sundays, it was nice.
Okay, we will let, Bob, you wanna start it
So,
off?
yeah, Amanda called me and you told me you bought the operation that was peddling
The Brew Cruise
the
cycle
brew
bikes.
cruise. And then she said, but we also, we bought that but we also do these paddle pump. So why don't you explain what that is? I know you're doing it in several other 4 other towns, so.
Sure. So the paddle boat is a very similar concept to the bikes that I'm sure you're familiar with. They've been operating here for about 7-8 years. So it's the same concept, but on a pontoon boat. So the guests go on board. They bring their food and drinks. We have a Coast Guard captain with a host, and they settle themselves around a central bar area, if you will, with coolers, ice, put their things there. They settle on bicycle seats similar to the trolley bikes, and they pedal, and it moves a big paddle wheel in the back of the boat, propels the boat. We also have an auxiliary motor as well for when they are tired, they don't want to pedal anymore, and we
many
turn
drinks.
into a
Tired
dance
or
party.
they run out of beer?
And so, and I know what you're looking, and you're going to dock at Treasure Cove?
Yes, we were looking to dock there.
Okay, and so
Where?
what you need.
Treasure Cove.
Treasure Cove?
Yeah, by.
Behind
that's-
Jerry and the Mermaid. Thanks.
So, and you're looking to onboard and
Deboard
deboard
passengers at the river.
at the riverhead at the dock?
Mhm.
Okay.
So the guests would come and use the municipal parking lots, meet the boat at the dock, and then come on the boat. We'd go for an excursion, lasts about 4 to 5 miles, about a 90 to 100-minute duration. So we keep it short and sweet, so they get to see the surroundings, have a good time with their friends and family on board, and then they get to experience the rest of Riverhead for the rest of their day.
And the nice thing about this being on the water, as opposed to the bike one on land, is you won't hold up boat traffic, because boat traffic can go right around you.
Correct. Yes.
We do get occasional complaints of people saying, I'm behind this thing and it's going so slow and it's tying up. And we've dealt with that over the years, and it's not that big of an issue, but this way you wouldn't have that problem at all.
Why, are you eliminating the other bikes then by doing, is that what you're
No.
saying? You switch to the pedal, you plan to do
I
both?
plan on doing the bikes as well. I know there were 3 in operation. We're looking to just do 1 for this season. We're trying to outfit the bikes, make them
It's been an
refresher.
ongoing concern with the fire department, is the bike getting out of the way as they come out of that
So-
substation. On a
so,
regular basis. It's problematic.
I understand that. I used to have a circle bike, a 7-seater bike, not as opposed to like the 14-passenger that you're used to. So we work with the town and we go through and pull over for the fire zones temporarily to let traffic pass, or any parking spaces that are available, and all the staff is trained on how to pay attention to who's behind them and not stop traffic. So I'm very conscientious about that.
What would your dates of operation be? What time, what particular months would you be operating?
Typically May 1st to October 1st.
And this is bring your own beer, alcohol? Is that what's happening? Are you selling it on there?
We do not sell anything, so usually people pack like a picnic, if you will. So they'll pack sandwiches, pizza, burgers, things like that, chips, fruit. And then for beverages, we don't allow any hard liquor on board. We keep it to like cans, beer, canned wine, things like that, nothing in glass that can't break, and we limit it to 4 per person.
Promote the local businesses downtown, tell them to go get their beer and food there.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
That was that was gonna be my question. Do you work with local businesses, for example, like the Italian restaurant, that, tell your customers if you go here, you're either gonna get a discount or we recommend blah, blah, blah?
They have packages set up together.
Yeah.
already
So
set
they're
up in
basically
order,
provisioning
number
the boat.
one,
Yes.
Okay.
So they would pick it up. They would set it up with the local business, and then they would just bring it to the boat beforehand.
So
But
you-
yes, we do work with a distillery over in Patchogue, and then the brewery in Huntington as well. I know we just opened up Oceanside, so we are looking into partnering with the Barrier Brewery over there as well.
So you would have those types of beverages on board, and people could bring other alternative liquor if they want?
We do not provide any
There's no-
alcohol
okay.
or food.
You said you were
Strictly
partnering
the
with,
experience,
Oh,
and then
okay.
they can bring whatever they like on board.
just because you said you're partnering with certain breweries or
Yeah,
distilleries.
you
Oh,
would
just
go to
like
that
the
brewery
relationship
first and
wise.
pick
Oh,
up
before
your
you get,
stuff and-
I see.
Yeah.
But you said there's a limit, so they're not just bringing in a cooler full of.
No, 4 per
24.
person. I thought that was
Okay.
more than enough. Usually we did 2 hours in the past. We're cutting down to about 90-minute, 100-minute tours this season.
Do you have any partnerships with any of the breweries here in Riverhead?
I actually haven't met them yet, so
Oh.
I'm very excited to build those relationships.
I like it. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. It's just another amenity for people to come downtown Riverhead, to come to downtown Riverhead for, and spend more money on our local businesses, so I look forward to it.
This is wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. And what I'll do is I'll put you in touch, we'll get in touch with our legal department with the agreement, and, I'm definitely for this. I think it's great.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
send me your information too, we can promote it on our end,
Oh.
get people down there.
Great.
That's great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice meeting you.
Very nice meeting you all.
Yes, you too.
Okay, up next, we have Justice Court matters surrounding the monthly report. Howard and CERU.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Victoria?
Pretty good. All right, so
Good morning, Eric.
I did mine for, as we know, March 1st, to March 31st. I know the board is aware, but I just want to make the disclaimer that this is for town code cases only, nothing through PD. So we did have the parking calendar in the month of March. We had a pretty robust one on March 4th. March 11th, we only had a couple of cases on, but we did have 13 convictions, and we collected $1,110 in fines on those. Town code, we had 7 convictions for the neighborhood preservation. As we know, that's litter on property, noise, certificates of occupancy, things like that. We got 5 convictions on fire marshal, 2,400 on that. Quality of life, your open alcohol, public urination, littering, 2,665. And as you can see, that total is a strange number. The reason why it ends in 65 is because I had the conversation with the court. Councilman Rothwell, you brought to my attention the surcharges under Chapter 117. I had a conversation with the court. I reminded them of those mandatory surcharges. They were very receptive to it, and they have been issuing them accordingly. So we're back on track with those. So it's the $65 surcharges on the quality of life, the $100 on a few of the other ones. So I'm happy to report that. So the grand total with those surcharges was $10,675. And as we know, it's only for the people that come in,
Right.
actually, do the right thing, come to court, pay the fines. What else do we have? So yeah, that's really all I have, unless anyone has any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
How many cases do we have open right now currently with regard to the neighborhood preservation?
Preservation, I mean, I don't know for sure right now, I'll run the numbers,
Okay.
but I would say probably about maybe 100, 120. Those have different adjourned dates. Some of them get adjourned out 2 weeks, some of them get adjourned out, however long it takes for people to get rental permits. So it's kind of a huge span of time. But I can definitely find that out,
Okay, thank
an
you.
exact number for you, yeah.
Like to create additional work, and then at some point, like maybe twice a year or something like that, can we get like balances towards what we're actually collecting in the appropriate categories?
Yes,
So that we can
yeah.
make it available for expenditures, like for beautification of town projects, things like that. At some point,
Yes.
we'll wanna let them know if it's the parks, then
Right.
apply the money to the parks.
And that's 117-4D. That has to go through town financial administration to get those fines together, so I'll work together with, I guess, accounting to figure out, how we're getting those, in the correct areas.
It'd be nice to see it, especially as, when you get to the end of the year, like, so how did we do?
I agree, yeah.
What did we raise due to these mandatory surcharges?
Sounds good to me, I will get right on
Thank
that.
you. Thanks for following up on it too, appreciate it.
Yep.
Little feedback we have?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any further questions?
No, not for
work.
me,
Thank
thank you.
Victoria, thank you very
Victoria.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good job.
Next up, we have code enforcement and matters surrounding the monthly report. With senior investigator,
Yes, get the title right.
Rich Downs.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Good. How are you, Rich?
Good.
Good.
Everybody have their pamphlet?
I don't have, I didn't get one.
You didn't get one?
I didn't get one either.
It was online.
Well, I feel special. I
Oh,
am.
it was
You'll
online.
have to share. Oh, I'll run through it also. All right, I changed the format a little bit to be more in line with what everybody else was doing. Before I was doing a month to the meeting date, so it got a little confusing. So now we're
Rich,
just.
you gotta speak up a little bit loud. You don't have to move that,
Oh, okay.
just speak a little loud.
So I changed the format of the way I was doing the reports before. It was month to meeting date. Now I'm just doing it by the month. So we're looking at the report for the month of March right now. So we opened up 40 new complaint investigations for the month of March. We have 2 confidential investigations relating to overcrowded housing and noise currently pending right now. We have 28 cases that we carried over from January that are still under investigation. We issued 56 summonses for the month of March. Ticketable infractions include no COs, 7, land clearing 1, violation of stop work order 1, unlawful structures 1, dangerous or hazardous conditions 1, no building permits. We had 10. Commercial litter, we had 3. Litter on private properties, we had 3 summonses. Rental permit violations, we had 6. Unregistered vehicles, we had 7. Signs, prohibited signs, we had 6. Violations of site plan, those are commercial properties that violated their site plan, 3. Zoning violations, 2. Clothing drop-off bins, we had 1. Property maintenance violations, 2. Streets and sidewalks, 1.
The commercial litter, was part of that up on Route 58 with the businesses
Some
up
of
there?
them,
that-
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
good.
yep, yep. Those were the litter in the parking lots.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
some of the
all against the
supermarkets, yep.
Fences, yep,
Yep.
perfect.
Okay, we prioritize life safety complaints over the general litter complaints. Rentals. We continue to perform our annual inspections. We have inspected 90 residential type properties. Those are the houses, the 2-family house type structures.
Excuse me, is that just the month of March alone?
90.
90 in March?
Well,
Inspections?
we did 300 apartment units too, also in addition, so that was 390 rental units inspected. We've collected approximately $20,575 in rental fees for the month of March. And our total revenue from January to March is $53,550 in rental fees.
How are you doing towards keeping on pace that everybody's getting inspected on time?
We're doing pretty good, except we lost one rental housing inspector. We had to fill that position, so that was George, who went over to Southampton. So
You're actively seeking replacement right now?
yes, the test was just given on Saturday, so we got a call for the list as soon as that.
And how about a staff member in the office?
We're interviewing Friday.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll have a
Long
full-time
time coming.
administrative person, hopefully, fingers
That will,
crossed.
that will really help you.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Yep,
Good.
I agree.
Perfect.
Yeah, and certainly I'd like to be involved with a discussion about the dumpsters and the
Mhm.
corrals. I'd like to be involved with that if possible.
Sure, absolutely.
We put him in
Nice.
charge of the dumpster, Colonel?
I don't want to be in charge of it.
Careful what you wish for.
I have some ideas.
got it.
I have some
He
ideas.
does, he's worked with us in the past with
Yeah.
this, with some stuff, so.
Okay. Yeah,
I
people.
see the problem and I have some ideas, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think people having a general thought or idea that someone is actually physically there watching might deter a lot of this too.
Yeah, and the cameras, I have
Absolutely,
ideas about
cameras
that,
are
about
definitely
those too.
gonna deter.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay,
Excellent job.
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
You guys
you.
are
You're
very
welcome.
busy, we appreciate it.
Thank
You guys are
And,
very, very busy.
yes,
Thank you
we
for
are.
all that you do.
There's no moss growing on our code
It's
enforcement
job
officers.
security.
Absolutely.
That's
Any
one way
other?
to look
Thanks,
at it.
Rich.
Yeah, good job.
All right, next up, we have matters surrounding a possible driving school at EPCAL. Bob KERN and the folks with the driving school, come on up. How are you?
Thank you. Hi, Denise.
So this was a packet that these folks sent over,
Package.
just as we got underway.
Dan, Tim Hubbard, nice to meet you.
Mr. Kern, nice to see you.
Good to see you, how are you?
Dan DeMonte, very nice to meet you.
This is a packet that these folks sent over just a short time ago, so I think it's different than the one you already have, but they can walk us through that, I'm not quite sure.
Thank you very much for doing it.
I didn't do it, the lady upstairs did, I can take no credit.
I'm always thanking the upstairs people,
Yeah.
so kind of works that way.
Evidently it is out, I don't know.
So it seems, and I don't know, is it gonna be on the screen at all?
Oh,
Or is it gonna go from here?
Justin, do you have the presentation?
Yeah, there's
I
actually,
sent it to you this morning.
there's two of them, so maybe that,
He has the old one, he doesn't have this one.
yeah, the old one will be great.
Okay.
If we can start with that, and this is just some collateral to support the conversation we'll be having shortly.
So, just to give the board a little update, I met with Dan in the past year.
Yes, sir.
And at that point, we were with Kat, and we didn't know what was going on, blah, blah, blah. So they're just looking to, and if you look in the presentation, lease a portion of the 10,000 square foot runway or the taxiway to do their driving academy, which is something that we can do. It's not going to disrupt the property at all. They're not leaving anything on the runway except, when they're utilizing it.
That's correct.
Yeah, but they're aware that it's an active runway, even though it hasn't been used in who knows how long, but it is an active runway for an emergency landing, should, somebody need that. So with that, I'll let you, explain what your academy does.
All right, that sounds great.
Oh, wait, well, as soon as he has
Yeah,
the,
that,
oh, you know what? You want to do it that way? We can do it like that. So, there you go. Oh, he's got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's, so we've
All
got
right.
everything going on. Well, first off, thank you for the opportunity to sit and speak with the committee today. Just a little personal reference. We are from New York, 3 brothers and 3 sisters. We all graduated from Half Hills East High School. My family gravitated out here 30 or 35 years ago. My sister Denise owns and operates the Andrews Family Farm. You probably have been to at some point. We've, for better or worse, used your services as well. Thank you, sir. My dad, Joseph, and my mom, Rosemary, spent many good years out in this community. My brother Anthony, who's on the phone, is my business partner. This is a family business. It's myself, my brother Anthony, my sister Donna, who lives out here with lots of kids and 6 grandchildren, and my sister Darlene. And so Anthony is a 20-year veteran of the New York City Police Department, decorated veteran of the New York City Police Department.
Is that Anthony?
No, he's.
Oh,
he had-
okay.
He had to take a call.
Okay.
He had to take a call. So, and his wife Lisa is a 25-year veteran of the Suffolk County Police Department, just as well. So this business has been in business since 1975. We're approaching our 50-year anniversary. I'm not that old, so obviously I didn't start the business, but we have as a family owned and operated this business for 7 years and have been in the driving school business for 15 or so. We operate across the United States. This program, we have a multitude of divisions. This particular program operates every single month in 10 different locations in the United States. Locally, it's a Nassau Coliseum. We run between 2 and 5 events per month. So basically, this talks a little bit about the company and where we operate. And I don't know if you guys are scrolling through or I'm directing or how that's going to go.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So maybe go
Dan, what you're gonna wanna do though is
speak about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
No, don't, you don't have to move it, just, no, what you do is,
Here he comes.
You can see how practiced I am at this.
yeah, it's okay. Is it possible to get it up on some other monitors that Dan can see?
I can see that.
Oh, he can
Yes, sir.
see it. Yeah, so if you just speak, come closer to
Got
the
it.
mic and speak, you're good.
So basically, we operate one of the largest and most proficient driving academies in the United States. And it can be anybody from a young person with a permit all the way up through a P of 75, 85, 90 years old. And what's important about that, specifically to the teen driver community, is the largest killer of people 16 to 21 is in an automobile. And unfortunately, the training in our systems in our high school, for a series of reasons, doesn't get these young people to a place where they can be safe, secure, comfortable, and competent. So we do that, I would suggest, better than anybody in the United States. It's a one-day program. We're talking about statistics, some of that comes up here. I don't know, as a father, my sons have done this. It's super, super important when you put a young person in a 4,000-pound vehicle without the competence to be able to operate it. It's dangerous, it's expensive, lawsuits. In addition to, we have 400,000 alumni since 1975. We have a corporate agreement with the Chubb Insurance. They thought this was so important. We're about to roll out a program across the United States in the second quarter. So it's just really, we do a lot of fun, neat stuff in our business, but this is probably the most important position in what we do. And again, this is nothing new, and in fact, I operate today just in Nassau Coliseum. So maybe we can go to the next slide. I don't know how we go to the next slide. There we go, thank you. So if we get a little bit technical, so Joe Manito is our Chief Revenue Officer. He's worked with myself, my brother, my family for over 14 years. So maybe you can take him through some of the technical aspects of how this program operates.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is not like your traditional red light, stale green light type driving school. We're teaching them accident avoidance skills, car control skills, learning really how to manage the car, the weight, the transfer. So we started off as an instructor in the right seat with them. We're working in the classroom to start talking about, some of that road theory. We're talking about contact patch management of the tire. We're talking about how to move weight around the car when needed. But really the primary part of the class is being in the car and experiencing these situations. It's amazing when you get into a car with a kid that's got their driver's license and you say, hey, full apply of that brake, and they use like 10, 12% of it. And then the ABS kicks in and they go, oh my God, I broke something. So it's given them the opportunity to experience the car at limit or these different safety devices, including like traction control, and understanding how to really use that to get the car stopped. So we're working on vision. A lot of people look at what they're about to hit, so their car's sliding and they're looking at the guardrail and they put the car into the guardrail. You should really be looking where the car's going to follow your eyes, like in any sport. We're working on braking, how to get the maximum braking force applied. We'll do the skid pad, so we've got a couple different ways of doing that. We'll either wet asphalt or we'll use these high-density plastic skid rings that go on the back wheel. So teaching them when the car does start to slide, how to get it pointed right back in the right direction, or if they go too far, how to get the car stopped completely in the same lane without jumping into the other lane. We're working on open road driving techniques, so that emergency braking situation where unfortunately they look down at their cell phone or they're changing the radio station, look up and there's a tractor trailer in front of them, how to get the car stopped and turned at the same time so they don't end up underneath it. Hydroplaning, we do a lot of like wet grounded exercises. So when the car does hydroplane, what do they do there? And then we'll get into maintenance, talking about look at your tires. That's the most important part of the car. Everything you're doing is managing a contact patch times 4 that's this big. So tires are super important. Obviously distractions, we'll do some things where we'll distract them on purpose and show them how bad they get and knocking into to cones. And then an autocross kind of combines everything together, where you're going out there and you've got a little more speed in the car. It's that situation where you're coming off the highway and it's a tighter radius than you expected on the exit. How do you get the car slowed down and moved in the right direction in a safe manner?
I have to say that being a police officer for 32 years, we had to go through EVOC training.
Absolutely.
And all of what you just touched on, it increases your ability to safely drive tremendously.
Yes, sir.
Especially, when a police, if you're going on a high-speed pursuit, you need to have better control of the car. And going through this regularly, every 3 years or so we would go through, was awesome. And the skid pan, just to learn to control the car, how to do it properly when it's wet. And it's incredible. I highly recommend anybody go through this. Is there upon completion, would there be a discount that you could submit to your insurance company?
Yeah, there is. And so each insurance company operates somewhat differently, but Chubb Insurance is a good example of that. And we've done business with a multitude of other firms. We try to consolidate. We're talking to 11 different states right now. We're working with the DMV from New York State, Owen McShane's group. We're working with Helen Hoffman, who is the head of the PTA for New York State. 400,000 people that are part of the database. So we're trying to get a consistent position where you just kind of show up, but with your certificate, you have the capacity to either get a discount, address points in your license. It's a very technical program, well advanced. It's really an EVOC program, right? So if you look at, Anthony did this in New York State City for a lot of years. One of our senior members is Dan Donza. Dan ran EVOC in New York City for 14 years, the premier program in the United States. So our instructors are the finest ones in the country, period. And so I know I'm singing to the choir, and this is why I love it. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because this is my business, but this is more important than us, quite frankly.
I had a couple questions.
Yes.
So the insurance companies will accept this
Some
in
do.
New York?
Some do.
Okay. Also, whose cars would they be driving?
So that's a great question. So what we are a complete turnkey situation. They drive our cars. As a business, we operate in 10 different locations in the United States. We have 175 cars, 11 tractor trailers, and about 100 employees. And so what happens when people show up, that's all they do. It's our cars, it's our instructors, the facility, of course, we rent, it's our insurance. They just need to be there, collecting materials. So it's really show up, look, learn, listen, and succeed.
And I had one other question, because in the brochure it talks about you teach competitive driving as well, right? Racing?
We do. So the Skip Barber Racing School is the most prolific driver training program in the world. 60% of all IndyCar drivers are graduates, 65% of all NASCAR drivers are graduates. And why that's important, because that's a skill set that we then turned into this safety. And they've operated simultaneously it'll be 50 years in 2025. So if you were to Google us, or if you talk to people in the space, Formula One, NASCAR, IndyCar, I'll be at the Long Beach Grand Prix this weekend. We work with the Andretti's, we work with the Myra Shank racing team, and then we teach young drivers. Last week we did a program with Jimmy Johnson, if you're in the NASCAR space, and then I'll be headed to the Miami Grand Prix, where we are the official driving school for that program as well. So it's a lot of fun, it's exciting, it's still difficult and hard to operate any small family business, but we love doing it.
So I'm looking for the guarantee. I lost the race to our IT director on board, but I understand if I go through your school and graduate, I'm a certain one. Is that correct?
What do you think, John?
We can make that happen.
All right, and of course, you can't say the word guarantee in front of my brother because he's a cop, he gets nervous, he doesn't guarantee anything.
Exactly.
But,
how did you guys make out, I know that I had put you guys in touch with the grant program opportunities, so that we're doing up there too. John Montecalvo was working with you guys.
Yes.
And then you guys have met with them to discuss your plans to try to go forward.
Yeah, so we know John for as many years as I've been around, and so I sat down with him I think early this year, And so that's another good point. The question is, how are these things going to be compensated and paid for? And so are there opportunities within city, state, on a national, on a NHTSA basis? Is there subsidies that are available? Look, you should, the reality is this is not inexpensive to do these programs on either a half or a full day, start at about $500 and they go up from there. But given the insurance opportunity and the safety benefits that you can do, today it's about $38,000 to buy your child's vehicle. And some people spend $3,000 and some people spend $60,000. So what I say as a father, as a parent, is don't spend $35,000, spend $34,000. It could be $1,000 for a day. Come see us. Save your money and your child's potential for injury, and get a little smaller stereo system. So we're aware of the economics of it. We do a tremendous amount of charitable events. We've got one program where we'll bring out upwards. These programs can be as little as 10 or as many as 60 people, depending upon the amount of cars and the location. Typically, all we need is 4 to 6 acres of flat asphalt in order to operate this program. And beyond, we don't get on tracks, right? We create our own environment. And it can be near a track, it can be Nassau Coliseum, it can be the Meadowlands, it could be Levi Stadium in San Francisco. So we are self-contained, even down to water and safe environments and classroom activities and stuff like that. But that's another good point. So I think the first portion is there's a portion of the population that can afford to do this, and they should be engaged with this. And then we should find a way to help support the people that can't, but can benefit from it. We understand that we've got a program that runs with 30 people. We commit from a charitable piece 5 of those seats for every program. So that's a 5,000 to 8,000 commitment from us because we understand the value. I'm still trying to run a business just like everybody else, but we understand there's a higher calling here.
The sports complex study is taking place up there. I think that's what they were looking to talk to you about in terms of, I believe, participated in that study. Looking at that's a matching grant where we're investing $35,000 in the state of New York. The grant we received was another 30, so we're doing that $70,000 study up there, the whole sports complex area.
Yeah.
And I believe that they had spoken to at least someone within your organization. I'd given them your contact info, just to kind of participate, because I think it's a way to utilize all of the assets that are currently in place up there, mainly in your particular thing is the runway in itself, without any serious major development. That's going to cause traffic issues, things like that. And I think you fit the parameters very well in terms of we're not looking for Amazon trucks going in and out, trucks,
Yeah.
And I think it's great, and I was more impressed that you guys are working year round. So sometimes we just think of these the summer months and things like that.
Right.
So trying to keep an operation flowing all year round.
Yeah, no, this business operates every week in various parts of the country, and that's a good point. We did meet with the consulting firm. Joe met with them. I had a conversation with them about 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
And so there's a progression here. This is where we want to start, what we want to do. There's a higher calling at the end of the day when they're talking about the potential of something bigger, more programs potentially, the concept of a race, all that. We own our own race series, all kinds of neat stuff. I think this is where we need to start and where we could start. And the
But it could be a shared entity, though.
Oh,
Like the Triangle
absolutely.
Place, you're running it Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday is race day.
And if 1,000%, we could do that. We actually own our own series. If you guys or gals are close to racing at all, it's called SRX. We own a nationally and internationally viewed program. So there is a place that we could bring visibility to the entire community, and not, we're friends with Formula One, IndyCar, with NASCAR, but we control that series. That could happen as well. Again, I think there's a progression that we're going to talk about here. But what's important about the consulting group when we talk to them, so they're bat and ball people, and they get it, and they're very talented. They don't understand what we do, and they're going to lean on us to have the motorsport community a party to what they could do. So I'd like to see us, quote unquote, partner with them. They can operate and run, they don't have to, I know they start as consultants, and we would facilitate this portion of it. That's our view.
All right, thank you for taking part in that, though.
Oh, it's perfect. No, it doesn't, and they said, hey, listen, we just don't know much about this space. And I said, well, please lean on us, because people hire us as experts across the country in order to do that. So why wouldn't we do this on a local community basis?
I'm trying to take your track in New Jersey and just bring it over and drop it down over.
It'll fit. I may or may not have done that.
I know
Google
it
Maps
does.
once or twice.
I know it. Maybe a few tighter turns, so we can do it.
Look, we've got, fortunately for us, if you know in the track space, today we operate at the iconic venues across the country. And that's Laguna Seca, Sonoma, Coda, the Formula One track, Road Atlanta, at Virginia International Raceway, a 45,000 square foot facility where we house our assets when they're not moving, which hopefully is not too often. We like to monetize those. So we're very committed to this business, or should be committed. I'm not sure. My wife makes me my wife may say be committed because I'm not home very much, as the same as Joe's wife. Yeah, this is what we do, and we play at a high level, and to be able to do this in our community, I couldn't be happier or proud to have the opportunity. Simple as that.
It's a great opportunity, especially for our kids.
Just a quick question in regards to the 10,000-foot runway, which we do have to maintain as an emergency runway.
Sure.
If you're up there, are there permanent structures or structures that are there that couldn't be moved in a fairly fast amount of time if they had to be, if we had to have an emergency landing?
It's primarily cones, so.
Okay,
easy to
that's
move,
what I figured.
would
That's
just
why,
knock over
yeah.
worst case scenario.
You're not bringing Jersey barriers or
No,
concrete
none of those
barriers
things.
or anything
At
like
some
that.
point, I'd like to have the ability to put some simple permanence in the sense of a classroom. We end up almost in the Sahara Desert. We put this thing on, but the more opportunity and the more demand structure. But we call ourselves friendly traveling circus because we do operate and move around and doing that.
Where do you keep the cones when you're not?
In a trailer. We have big,
A mobile trailer or something that's going to be on site?
no, it would be on site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we are considered track light, right? So we come in, we own, we operate what we're doing. Typically, we leave that facility in the same, if not better, position. Then we're very particular, very meticulous about how we operate our business. We're very considerate of the area, of the community, and that's why the finest tracks in the world will give us access across the board. It's a very, so I would invite you to either come to our corporate facility, either something as simple, just we did with Helen Hopp, we come out to Nassau Coliseum, get in a car, see what we do for a day. I got you, right? Because you've done it and been there, but if you haven't done this before, and it's not just for teams. You know, what we do is we put people in an emergency situation when it's not an emergency. And I can get in a soapbox, and I won't. It is that important. The question is, how do we bring people to the table? How we help them to afford it when they can't? And when they can, they should participate for the benefit of not just themselves and their families, but our community.
What's amazing is you go through like the EVOC course, and by the time you finish it, and it's a one-day course,
Yeah.
but by the time you finish it, you feel much more comfortable. But what really is impressive is the instructors, because they do this obviously for a living,
Yeah.
and their control of a motor vehicle is absolutely incredible. I mean, you can't imagine how much time it took to get that way, but just the way they can control the vehicle and make it do and make it respond and go through these, you know, you're going down the skid pan and then the light changes on, you go right or left and all that good stuff. I mean, these guys, it's incredible how they can control a vehicle. So even a one-day course can give you so much better control of a motor vehicle. And especially the young drivers, I totally agree with that. I have 5 kids, and
There you go.
I taught each one of them to drive, and I used to have brown hair. But, you know, it's most important that they get a lot of time underneath them before they take their road test and to learn to do it properly. So.
The finest, you know, the one thing I say about today's training, and everyone's trying, but I don't know people that have been injured and killed parallel parking, which is the hardest part of this. You know, that's not what it's about.
Right.
That and the Long Island Expressway couldn't be any two farther parts away.
Right.
So that's super, super important.
Yep.
And so we have the finest instructors in the United States. Last year we interviewed 55 instructors and hired 3. You have to not just be a skilled driver, but a skilled communicator. You have to be sympathetic. You have to be. It's just still, you know, it's intimidating. I was at the so a big part of ours is Michelin Tire Company. I went to their proving ground in South Carolina, and we were doing the skid pad, and I've been doing this a long time. It's still intimidating. You may spin out, you may hit a cone, you may look dopey. Right. So all those, that's important. The other thing is what's great about kids is it isn't, you know, ABC driving school. They come out to the Skip Barber Driving Academy or racing school, and now they go back to high school and they're not like whoever. They're cool. They buy our hats. They wear our shirts. It's just a thing because kids don't want. I don't want to go to driving school. Well, you have to. I sent my kids to driving school. I own a driving business, It's that important. And the reactions are amazing.
It really
What's
is.
that?
I was sent to one. My father spent one day in the car with me and said, "You're going to try this."
That was last week.
No, it's funny. I lived that life. I did the same thing. So when we were kids, my dad was a drag racer. He was the weekend manager, construction worker by trade, a weekend manager for New York National Speedway in Center Ridge, New York. That's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And so we did a day in the car, and I went to a driving school. A wonderful man, no longer with us. Patience wasn't exactly a virtue for him, but he did understand the value of safety. He was a Dick Sills fire chief for 25 years, and so he understood the value. Anthony is a volunteer fireman. Both of my other brothers are volunteer firemen. I couldn't get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to a fire, but they did and did a good job doing it. So yeah, no, hopefully there's a passion in my voice. I love doing this. We enjoy it. We do good by doing well, or vice versa. And we see an amazing natural fit here. So this is not new to us. We've conceived this opportunity for the last 5 years.
So just ask, outside of the car, you guys mentioned earlier tractor trailers. You guys do CDL
We
classes,
do.
learning, or
Some
how,
of
to what
that.
extent?
To some extent, nothing major at this point. All the stuff we have right now is to transport our own equipment, but we'll bring guys into the business and have them work with the CDL guys and then get them through the school to train.
I mean, I just think like an ongoing assistance that's needed is just like our highway department is constantly looking to hire new employees, but one of the requirements in order to apply for the highway department is a CDL license. And sometimes that's difficult to have something that's local right by, which we can team up with and say, here
we
you
can
go,
definitely-
get the CDL sign up.
Definitely
If you're bringing a rig anyway with, I presume, cars and cones and everything inside it.
No, that's
if you
exactly right.
incorporate it in that, use the same rig that was normal.
A big part of ours is Mack Truck. I don't know if we have any pictures of them bouncing around, but we're building a technical center in Virginia, in Alta, Virginia, to do those types of things. So that's important. There's so many options. So we're just talking about teen drivers. We have a professional driver series where we're teaching anybody that has to drive for a living. And that's Uber, Lyft, Domino's, Amazon, Last Mile. If you've been in an Uber lately, and I travel all over the country, it's not a good thing. The skill set is not. I understand the democratization of the taxi, and it works, and I use it. But counties, states, localities, they're not well trained. In fact, they're not trained at all.
Right.
And yet, this is what they do for a living. It's like being a police officer, not going to the range.
Right.
How could you do that? How could you possibly do that?
Yeah.
So again, there's a higher calling here, depending upon, and we have this conversation in 11 different states, and it's hard to get people. This is an easy way for us to enact. It's an opportunity. It's good for us. It's good for you. We're going to pay you to rent that space. People are going to come out and they're going to have lunch and do whatever they need to do according to that. And look, this is a racing community. We've been Anthony used to race at Riverhead Raceway, if you go back far. So in the high end, he was in the NASCAR series. So we raced for 30 years, including Riverhead. We used to run late models out there. So we get it, we love it, we understand it. I think we just have to be able to tell the right story to the right people, and we have the right story. And this is why this opportunity is so great. And thank you, Bob, and the rest of the team for allowing us to do this. We really want to do this.
Good. We'd really like to have you there.
So I'll get in touch with you, and we'll get with legal and the area and the lease and
Yes.
all that. Okay?
Doesn't get much better than that.
Very nice meeting you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
meeting.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, that closes all our issues that we had for open session today. We're now going to move on to executive session to discuss under legal matters surrounding possible litigation with the Town of Southampton with Howard and Thomas, matters surrounding litigation update with the Vail Levitt, Howard and Hurley. Contractual matters will be matters surrounding proposed changes to contractual agreement regarding dental insurance, STRIPLIN-TIO and HEGERMILLER. And also matters surrounding possible lease of real property with Howard. Under personnel matters, we have matters surrounding possible change in status of employees with Hubbard, and we have matters surrounding a change in employee status with Howard. I'd like to make a motion to close our work session agenda and go into executive session.
Looks like
So-
Howard's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Yeah, so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
About everything you took out.